chatting with Khari Thorpe, who has a new track coming out soon.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes,
Great.
indeed. Thank you.
How are you doing today, Khari?
Top notch, awesome. On top of the
Awesome. What time is it?
mm, in Japan, it is 21:31, aka
Great.
it is 9:31.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really excited to chat with you about your music today. I really wanted to start off with the first question about the inspiration and where you kind of find, the emotion behind your music. What has influenced you over the years, and what is this new track inspired by?
So the song is actually on a beat by an artist named Fat John,
Mm-hmm.
Fatjon. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
a disclaimer: I'm not fat shaming. That's just the name of the producer.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up.
Yes, 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 indeed. Got to protect yourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
the track is actually on his instrumental, but it's
Mm-hmm.
a song called "Fill the Void." The song to me sounds like space, and but like to have like voids or like missing
Mm-hmm.
things or like areas in
Mm-hmm.
life where you feel like you're not complete or like things that you're maybe like lacking or whatever. And when you listen to this
Mm-hmm.
song, it made me at least think of all of that stuff. And about 2 months ago, I listened to it and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm going to write on this song. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to like first I wanted to like like collaborate with people on it, and then I decided to
Mm-hmm.
do it by myself. And I was kind of like going kind of like slow with the recording. Sometimes I would record, sometimes I wouldn't. And then my grandfather passed away, what, a month
Mm-hmm.
ago now. And
Mm-hmm.
when he passed away, I like really upped it up because um the song is about like attacking fear almost. So when my grandfather passed away, it kind of gave me the wherewithal to really attack anything and then
Mhm,
finish that
mhm.
finish that song. Yeah.
So I know that in the past you've mentioned that a lot of your music comes from this place of going out and getting things done. And again, like this entire concept of filling the void, making sure that what you're doing has meaning, it has purpose in it. So this track in particular is pretty inspired by your grandfather in many ways. What were some of the other factors that played into it? Like as you said, what were some of the things that were making you procrastinate before you actually got this kind of catalyst a month ago in order to get it done and get it out there?
Good question. So in the intro, actually, I'm kind of like there's a snippet of me talking about like
Mhm.
when you get in your head and you're
Mhm.
like you literally stop moving. And
Mhm.
and for me at least, I've been in my head on so many things for like the last 2 or 3 years, and I knew that
Mhm.
time was progressing, and I was like, tomorrow
Mhm.
I'm going to get it together. Tomorrow I'm going to get it together. Tomorrow I'm going to get it together.
Mhm.
And man, that turned into 3 years. So
Mhm.
so when you say like what's the catalyst to creating the music, I just didn't want it to turn into a fourth. And now where I'm living at
Mhm.
now in rural Japan, uh,
Mhm.
the conditions, as me and you have talked about before, is such that
Mhm.
I know I don't want to be like somewhere like that forever. So
Mhm.
it's forcing me out of it now. It's about like the lyrics in the song.
Mhm.
It's it's kind of like it's everything, right? It's kind of like cocky a little
Mhm.
bit. It's a little funny.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
the hook is talking about um not letting people keep you down, but in actuality,
Mhm.
all of that is just about like not letting you keep your own self down too. Like
Mhm.
don't let yourself get caught in that trap to where you're not moving anymore.
Right. So you made this move to Japan around 6 months ago, correct?
Yes.
And traveling has been a big part of your life. You've always been very interested in exploring new places, new cultures. And as you mentioned, being in rural Japan really gave you um, this sense of kind of like what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. So
Uh,
it's made you realize the things that you are seeking and the things that you would not be happy or content with in your life.
yes.
How has that feeling and how has that like maturity impacted your music?
That's a great question, actually. When I first started making music, the first song that I officially really worked on
Mhm.
was called Tsunami. We called it Tsunami.
Mhm.
And this is it right here. I'll play a little snippet of it on my phone.
That would be great.
I won't play the lyrics though because
Mhm.
this is. Can you hear well?
Yes.
Have you ever heard this song?
I have not. No.
Okay. Oh, that's just the instrumental.
Mhm.
Enough. So you said you said what? Isa, reiterate the question one more time for me.
So let me reframe it a little bit. A lot of times we say that we don't really know what happiness is unless we've known what being unhappy looks like. So, in the same way, your current situation being in rural Japan has helped you figure out like what are the things that you want in life and what are the things that you don't want. What
Uh,
are the spaces that you don't do not make you feel as productive as being the best version of yourself. So, how has that maturity played into your music?
that's what you asked. Yeah, great question.
Mm-hmm.
So when I
Mm-hmm.
first started making music, like when I first actually started like getting on a recorder and really
Mm-hmm.
rapping into a microphone was about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to like cuss a lot, and every other word was like fuck and like shit and just like I still curse now, but
Mm-hmm.
everything was just like there's and I used to like have to be like
Mm-hmm.
I could never really like rap naturally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So uh when I first started off, I wasn't like as confident in the lyrics. I think the
Mm-hmm.
and the delivery was kind of rough, and
Mm-hmm.
there was always like my foot would kind of be like on the gas, but then like kind of off. Like I
Mm-hmm.
would only freestyle because I didn't want to fully commit. So like I never made
Mm-hmm.
like any songs. And when
Mm-hmm.
I first started, like the lyrics were like I never wrote. I didn't really want to
Mm-hmm.
commit to it. I was listening to what society told me, and I was like, well, I can't commit
Mm-hmm.
to actually being a musician. So I would like,
Mm-hmm.
make a freestyle there, use a little beat, whatever, but never actually like sit down and write. And so like,
Mm-hmm.
cuss a lot or uh, just kind of like, have do it.
Mm-hmm.
And but luckily, I think half doing something is better than not doing something. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I was half doing stuff at first, but now I'm really like doing it. And I think my music has reflected that because I think it's becoming more substantial. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the lyrics I think are becoming better. The flows are becoming better. Mm, I think when you really commit to something, I think you feel like you really do get what you put in. If you put in a half effort, you get a half result. If you really put it in, I
Absolutely.
think people will see that.
Absolutely. So, for viewers who are going to hear your new track soon, what are the three words that come to your mind that will hopefully, what will that make them feel? Your track, listening to your new track, what are the three ways you would describe it or other people you think would describe it?
I want them to think about traveling. Um,
Okay.
because traveling really unlocks like all of these songs that I've been releasing recently, I started
Mm-hmm.
writing them on like airplanes. Like,
Really? That's interesting.
yeah, I had a song called 30,000 Feet Up, 30,000
Mm-hmm.
Feet Up, elevated music. And
Okay.
it was written on a plane to Rio de Janeiro. So
Mm-hmm.
I want them to think about traveling because I feel like that's a way to really um,
Mm-hmm.
feel mental voice. If you're like feeling like I was feeling like trapped in America, whatever, and I left
Mm-hmm.
out and it answered a lot of questions. So I want them to think about
Mm-hmm.
traveling and just like no boundaries. Another thing is kind of like when they listen to that song, I would like for them to be I want them to think that I really want them to think that the flow of it is great. We really spent a lot of time matching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very new to like the creation process. So I really want
Mm-hmm.
to get into like the mix, the EQ, the
Mm-hmm.
sound, the way
Mm-hmm.
that the hook. I wrote
Yeah.
the hook driving in a taxi in on my island in Japan. And people say they really like that hook, but I wrote that hook in about 3 minutes.
Wow.
But I really like that hook, so I really want them to. The hook is about like just believe in you, like I believe in we. Let's come
Mm-hmm.
together and let's come together and run this whole galaxy. So my whole thing is like teamwork. So I want them
Mm-hmm.
to, like like you got a friend in me. Hmm.
How has that become important in your life, and where does the impetus for that come in? Like, why is teamwork so critical in your song?
Cause Brazilian Jiu Jitsu taught me a lot of that. Like in Jiu
Okay.
Jitsu, in Jiu Jitsu I've had teammates. I've had teammates that are one of my teammates, John. John is
Mm-hmm.
blind and he lost his legs. Like he doesn't have legs and he's blind, but he's a judo black belt. And
Wow.
yeah, so you know, and he helps me get better and I help him get better. And when I was
Mm-hmm.
moving to Japan, I was like, man, John, really worried about
Mm-hmm.
I'm really worried about it not being judo out there. And he was just like, nah, man, I got you. I'll just send me a text message and I'll find one of my judo coaches out there. He did judo in Japan. He said, I'll find somebody out there to help
Wow.
a teammate. And that was a void that I felt like I was going to have being here and
Mm-hmm.
being able to do what I loved. And he just filled it in. And I just think that, especially just like as I enter the music world, so many
Mm-hmm.
people only really want to help people when they have a large following. Like
Right.
if
Mm-hmm.
you go to a Trey Songz video, you hear people like, "Oh, da 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 da, oh, share Trey Songz or whatever like that." But we always ignore the person on YouTube. Like, hey, can you guys look at my videos, subscribe, listen to my
Mm-hmm.
channel? You ignore them because they don't have that following. But Trey Songz got there because he had a team and he started from ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
yeah,
That's great. So teamwork is important for you. Um, Getting what you want, like going for the things that you want, is important. And I think something that you often repeat, not just in your songs, but like in your life, is that the work that you're doing has to be meaningful,
uh,
right? Like
yeah,
you should not be wasting your days doing things that are not bringing you joy or not bringing you meaning in life.
yes.
So in the next couple of months, are you planning on releasing other music? What are you planning on doing to find meaning in that life?
Interesting. So usually I don't share the things like that, but I'll definitely do it now. I decided that I'm going to release an EP. I've never released an EP. So
Oh wow.
an EP consists of like 4 or 5 songs. It's like a project.
Hmm.
Um,
Cool.
I'm going to release that thing, and yeah, I've decided to do that because why halfway commit? It's just what I'm going to do. So I am going to release more music, and
Great.
yeah, now I'm just in the process of looking for like animators and producers and just like-minded people. People who
Mhm.
need this music, not just people who can help me make it, but just people who need it.
That's really awesome. What are ways in which you interact with your viewers, people that listen to your music? Do you ever take in their feedback? What are the ways in which you communicate with your people, the people who, you were talking about in terms of teamwork and kind of, it takes a village to get somewhere. So how are you taking all of that in?
Oh yeah, for sure. You're asking some real fire questions right now. Have you done this before?
I have not.
Dang, have you done this before? Holy moly.
Oh, Khari.
So, the thing is actually, when I started that page
Mhm,
called
mhm,
Ollies and Freestyles,
mhm,
I started that I think last year. I was at my most depressed of the depressed, living in Ann Arbor.
mhm,
I hated
mhm.
that shit. And and one day I just said, man, I'm about to record a freestyle video and put it on YouTube. My heart was
Right.
so fast.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I rapped and I got the I even when I talk about it, I get nervous. I did the freestyle and I rushed and put it on YouTube. And I created a page. And I changed my Instagram page from a personal page to a business page,
Mhm.
musician page. And I was scared the whole time. And
Yeah.
and uh and the beat was called, it was by Ginseng. It was called Quiet,
Mhm,
the instrumental that I did. And I think like
mhm,
over like a couple of months, like 7 people liked it. And I was like, what the hell? Because I went from, music always being my passion ever since I was a kid to actually
mhm,
put it out there in the world. I used to get teased about
mhm.
like when I was young, I said, I told a poem and I was teased about it. Like it was a dope poem, but I was teased.
Oh,
Yeah. And it made me not do that. So
wow.
I put out the song and like 7 people liked it. And then I started communicating with them one on one in the comments and they were like,
Mhm,
yo, that's dope. That's dope. But if you look at that
mm,
first song, I
mhm,
sound completely different than I sound now. But I talk with them because they really, the people who watch these videos,
mhm.
comment on them, they're really going out
Yeah.
of their way. And they give me,
Mhm,
and now I have a freestyle Fridays. I put on a freestyle every Friday. And I have the first person that comments on the video, they select the next
mhm,
beat for the freestyle. So last week, a good guy named it's Faisal recommended
mhm.
me to freestyle on "Picture Me Rolling" by Tupac, and
Oh.
I'm waiting for people to start throwing me, different beats,
Mhm,
as or Nirvana. So I really like to just see what they want me to do, and then I'll do it.
mhm.
Yeah, they changed the game. They're great.
That's amazing. I know that everyone's probably very excited for your new track to come out. I know I can't wait to hear it as well. I'm thank you so much for taking out the time to chat with us today and tell us a little more about not only your music but the inspiration and share a lot about your life as well. So thank you so much, Khari. Good luck with the rest of your music, and we can't wait to hear the EP.
Yes, indeed. Maybe you can help me figure
Yeah,
out the name for it.
absolutely. I'm so down.
Ah, you faded out right there. Maybe the name will be faded out.
Maybe it will be.
Maybe the name would be jet lagged.
That would be pretty dope, honestly. That would be a pretty great name. Yeah.
Yeah, back at it again. Not off the top this time, but with the pen. Still got bars, my friend. Don't think I'm peeking while you be out drinking. I be in thinking about how to move with the alchemy. Creating dynasties for my friends and family. Focus so it's not bright to battle me. Step up on this mic, get A up like calories. And don't be over here mad at me. Making the dreams